So there's a couple of games this morning. Liverpool beat Sheffield United. They go back at the top of the table of the Premier League. And Chelsea beating Man United 4-3. Extraordinary. 99th minute, 3-2 to United. There's about 30 seconds left and they score two bloody goals. You're right, son?
All right, son.
You'll be delighted with that this morning then.
No, I had $20 on your Rebel to win, mate.
No.
$3.60.
No.
I'm not happy at all.
Why would you bet on us? You know they were going to concede goals.
Mate, I thought Chelsea would concede more. And I was bloody almost right, except that, it's just farcical. And the only thing that cheered me up was once the money was gone, the fact that they stuck the knife in a bit more and twisted it, that made my day.
Well, I tell you what, mate, we talked about this in the past. As far, football has lost the plot. These days they should change the rule. If you've got the ball at your feet and you get inside the penalty area, just give the guy a goal. Just give it a goal. Because if a defender comes near you, you're going to get blown over, aren't you?
Well, this is the falling over routine, and they really should be a lot tougher on it. Say, do you know something? That's not enough for a penalty. My grandmother could stand up from that and do it. And they should retroactively, if they want to have all these commissions, they use television so much. I'm not a fan of VAR at all in any sport. The interference of the television broadcaster suddenly controlling the game. But if you're going to use it, why not use it in a positive way for the game? Say, right, we're going to have a panel, and they do disciplinary ones, they've got all those things, and we're going to cut out people diving and people trying to gain an advantage by cheating. And what we'll do is we'll suspend that player for a month, and then we'll start deducting points from the side. So the manager's going to go, anyone who dives, you're getting dropped next week, and we're fining you 10 weeks' wages or whatever it might be. Because then it brings back. I mean, I grew up going to West Ham and watching games all the time. Where people are basically, you had to break both legs to get a yellow card, or one leg wasn't enough even for a free kick.
I'm just sick, mate. I'm sick, but I'm just the challenges are so soft. I mean, a genuine penalty, fine, but. I can't remember who the player was for Chelsea. He had a big sort of shaggy barnet out the back. Every single time the ball went near him anywhere on the field, he basically just fell over. And I mean,
Kukureya.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, I mean, is this what you want? I mean, I'm bitter and twisted. Obviously, we lost the game, but at the same time, I mean, I see it too often now. I just think, and the VAR, Miles, can look at this and actually say, hey, look, that's a really soft challenge. It doesn't deserve a penalty.
Well, I mean, West Ham were rubbish, but you look at their last, I think, 4 games, you'll find about 5 VAR decisions that were absolutely farcical, and all went against us. So, as I say, I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it enhances the game. But I think even more than that, and we've spoken about it before, modern football is not it's meant to be entertainment. Now, today's game was pretty decent from that point of view in terms of there was a fair amount attacking, not passing the ball back and worried about giving up possession. But 90% of the football nowadays is worried about giving the ball away. You get near the opposition penalty area, next thing it's back with your own goalkeeper. You haven't even made an effort. And as for these, let's take the short corner. When you get a corner, the fans go crazy. It's like this is a goal-scoring opportunity. But rather than try and get a corner or get the ball in the area, they'll pass it all the way back. And then they'll take the short corner. And you watch the amount of times they take a short corner, next thing, it's back with their goalkeeper as well. So why, what on earth are you doing? Where's the entertainment factor? It's all driven by money and fear. It's awful.
Let's talk about the White Ferns if you're going to talk about awful. And we spoke about this last week again. This team gets so much publicity and so much positive publicity from a very fawning, sycophantic mainstream sports media. They're just woeful, Miles. And when the Blaze coach came out during the week, Lance Dry, and actually said the fielding and the running between wickets is really poor, not enough was made of that comment. I didn't see it reported, as widely as it should be. I mean, why can't this team be called out like the Football Ferns for what they actually are, which is really average?
Yeah, well, I mean, they are average, but to be honest, that England side aren't the worst side in the world. They'll be up there with Australia probably as the top 2 sides in the world. I think India are coming along at the moment. West Indies have their odd day in the sun. The playing field's levelling out, and maybe the expectation is too great. But you're right in terms of the criticism. But we've spoken about this before. You still cannot fully criticise a woman athlete. You can't do it, or else you're a misogynist.
That's it.
They want a level playing field, but it's not a level playing field. And I was just thinking about that, actually, just generally. There's the odd, the Chris Rattus or the Gregor Pauls that are like, I mean, Gregor's a bit of a miserable old git, but at least he's quite happy to stick the knife in every now and again. Chris does it for a living, and does it for reaction. But most of the media in New Zealand are sycophantic. They don't want to upset the really precious, governing bodies. Like New Zealand cricket and New Zealand rugby are just the two most, they're the most prickliest things. They're like the most sensitive, and this is going to sound misogynistic, the most sensitive woman that anything you say is, oh, right, I'm not talking to you now for a month. You know what they're like. You've dealt with them for nearly 30 years. If you say anything against them, chop them off. You watch Sky, all those analytical programs, how wet are they?
Oh, no.
Anyone who says anything, that's slightly contradictory, Murray Mexted, Justin Marshall, they get the old Spanish Archer out for them. Maybe I've got out the wrong side of bed this morning, but it just drives me nuts. And you watch a lot of American sport. How refreshing is it to watch A, the pundit programs, and B, the post-match interviews with the players and the coaches? It's like, it's warfare. It's open, it's honest, it's Don Reevy, Brian Clough.
Let's talk Super Rugby, because there's only 4 games this weekend, and the next couple of weekends actually trying to find a game that's worth watching. The Hurricanes and the Chiefs play Saturday night in a couple of weeks, and so that one is. But this weekend, Blues, Force, Rebels and Drua, Chiefs, MP and Brumbies, Waratahs. This is where Super Rugby gets it wrong. I don't know how, who sits here, does the draw at the start of the season, and actually, why don't they match it up and go, okay, well, what's the NRL got on? What's their big game? We need actually a game to excite fans this weekend. This is where it gets into its doldrum phase.
Yeah, it is a bit of a doldrum phase, but I mean, a couple of the Aussie sides have shown the odd sign this season. In fact, they quite surprised me. I thought they were just going to be the usual, lay down Maziers that they normally are. But to be honest, we might as well just have a New Zealand competition. And we might as well just call it the NPC and get all the best players playing in that and sod the rest of them. Maybe invite the island boys, because at least they, the Drua are getting better and better, and Moana Pacifica at least play an exciting brand of the game. But there's just too much of it, and it's really quite blah, the whole tournament. Even though my beloved Hurricanes are top of the table, it really struggles to draw your attention in. And yet you look at you look up north and you see the European Championships going on up there, and they're still getting good crowds. It's still a competition that's got viability. Why is that? Was it because they've leveraged off the back of 100 years of history for each of the clubs and kept it going? And I've said this so many times. Hawke's Bay make the Super Rugby. They're finishing the top 5 of the NPC. They're going to get bigger crowds at home than if the Hurricanes go for the one game every 3 years up to McLean Park.
No, totally true.